What up, people? Happy Wednesday. Kamari Ellis here with another edition of the Finance Rebel Show. And y'all know we do the Finance Rebel Show every Wednesday to talk about all the important issues in money, taxes, real estate, insurance, anything personal finance related, we talk about. Anything business related, we talk about. If it's about money, it's on the table. We talk about it. All right. So every week we do Wealthy Wednesdays. If you have any questions, come on over and throw them in the chat, or if you're on IG, throw them in the little question mark circle at the bottom of the screen. I already kind of know what everybody wants to talk about today, though. I have a sneaky suspicion. So before everybody gets on, I'm going to kind of leak it here. Today we had a big IPO. DoorDash hit the market. Got everybody excited. Got everybody ready to go. So I'm sure they want to talk about that IPO. And by the way, if you don't know what IPO means, IPO stands for Initial Public Offering. Initial Public Offering. And what Initial Public Offering is when a private corporation decides to go public and take money or take investments from the public. So these private corporations have to go through the regulatory process of the SEC of getting their business listed on one of the exchanges and able to offer their investment, their stock, to the general public. Mr. DSPN, how you doing, sir? I see you've been on a tear lately, on a tear. So I have a question for y'all as we get ready to get into tonight's show. Would it be inappropriate if I ate here on the show? Would y'all care? Would y'all really care? Chime in. Tell me what you think. My wife told me I can't eat on the show. Unique 79, how are you, Shaniqua? My wife said I can't eat live on the show. Cashmatic 12, how are you? Welcome. She said it's not professional. I said I'm hungry and I do this for free every week. So do I have the same professional standards that everyone else has? How you doing? Oh, you love the ad? Thank you. I love it too. Shad knows loans. How you doing, Shad? Shad, are you from Philly? I think you are. I think we might even know each other. You look familiar. All right. So Doing Ma's here. So Doing Ma says she don't care, but be careful. Yeah, I don't want to choke on a noodle. All right. And Fast says good evening. Good evening, Thad Green. How you doing? Listen to my wife. Well, I gotta listen to my wife. She don't listen to me. Y'all know how this thing go. Y'all know how this thing go. It's funny. The women always act like they ain't got no power, but they are the power. All right. So I have a plate here. I won't eat it though. I won't eat it. I'm going to listen to the women. All right, so listen, Mark Dames is in the building. My Wichita Connect is here. Yeah, Mark, that's right. I'm trying to get my vittles cracking, man. It's like, y'all want me here all late night. If you go to a meeting, right, at 8 o'clock, you're expected to be served dinner. So I come here at 8 o'clock. I got my own vittles. I got my own food. And y'all telling me I can't eat it. No, I ain't going to do that, though. Y'all might see me sneak a bite every now and again, though, as we get ready to go tonight. But listen, again, it's the Finance Rebel Show. Invite everybody who loves to learn about money, is looking to increase their financial IQ, because we're talking about IPOs tonight. We're talking about stock tonight. I know we normally do question and answers, but I already know what everybody's questions and answers are going to be about tonight. Do y'all know? I know. I already kind of said it earlier. Y'all all going to want to talk about this IPO. So I said, all right, well, since I already know what they're going to do, let's just talk about it. But if you have any other questions as we talk about these IPOs, this DoorDash IPO, this upcoming Airbnb IPO, go ahead and throw them in the chat and we'll get to them as well. All right. Small bites, Dad. Yeah, I think I can get away with small bites. But I've been told I smack loud, right? So I don't know if I can get away with that. All right. So did anybody watch the IPO today? Did anybody see it? Anybody have any questions about it? Today, DoorDash IPO. It was expected to IPO at $102. Now, I am not a fan of IPOs. I tell y'all that all the time. I'm going to tell you that once again. For various reasons. I didn't see it. I didn't see a Robinhood IPO. There was a Robinhood IPO. I didn't see that. Are you sure? RMG. So Thad Green says RMG Corporation acquisition 2 supposed to go live tomorrow. Sounds like one of those SPACs, one of those special acquisitions. Let me see if I can share this. Every time I try to share this, y'all, I've been doing a poor job of sharing these out with the world. Oh, Robinhood coming soon. Yeah, I can believe that. Is that Rebel all day? I love that name. Rebels love rebels. I love that name. But what are you rebelling against, Rebel all day? I'm curious. I'm rebelling against economic oppression, self-inflicted and systemically inflicted, both. What are you rebelling against? Or do you just like the name Rebel? All right, so listen, like I said, we're going to talk about DoorDash and we're going to talk about the Airbnb IPO. I'm just seeing if I can share. Every week it seems like I have a hard time sharing my stuff. I try to do it in advance. I always get busy. I always get like a client call or something, and then I wind up forgetting, and then I get in the mix with you all, and then I'm gone. So I don't think I see it. Nope, I don't see it. So let's see. Jamar Jordan, how you doing, brother? Marvin Nurse, Aiken Man, how are you? Jada Momback, how you doing? Musa Noir, how are you? Moose, you keep changing. Well, Musa Noir, you keep changing your name on me. You know I'm old. I can't be keeping up with name changes like that. I can barely remember my kid's name. I do think it's a real problem though, y'all. We're having all these social media names, and I'll be honest, some of y'all change names and I forget y'all actual names, y'all actual who you are. I guess that's just the way it is, right? Oh, I think I can share. I figured it out finally. I think. Maybe not. Maybe not, but it's all good. The Green Beret Media, how are you? All right, so enough jibber jabbering. Let's talk about it. So who saw the IPO today? Who saw DoorDash IPO today? Opened up at 182, but let's pull it up. All right, so we're going to talk about DoorDash and we are going to talk about the Airbnb IPO that's scheduled for tomorrow. And Thad said there's another one coming as well, RMG Corporation. Happy Wednesday, Green Beret. So quick note. I'll be honest. I haven't reviewed any of these. Right. Oh, so you looked at it, Jada Mom? Okay. What did you think about it? Did you invest in it? So I haven't looked at any of these. I didn't analyze any of these. So I was saying previously, I am not a fan. I am not a fan of IPOs, again, initial public offers. Because what happens in initial public offerings is usually all the big people get the stocks first. Okay, so everybody talked about DoorDash coming out at $102. The IPO price was $102, right? So remember, this is a process for when a private company goes public. When a private company is allowed to invest, when a private company allows the public to invest in their company, right? And there's a whole process where you have to go through the SEC, get approved. Now, the SEC does not certify and say your company is a good company. They just say it's okay enough. They've disclosed enough to put it out to the public for them to invest. But the risk still lies on you. The risk still lies on the public. You all had to remember that because investing is risky. All right. The dollar you put up today could be the dollar you lose tomorrow. Sometimes it actually could be the dollar you lose today. So the dollar you put up today could also be the dollar you lose today. So you have to keep that in mind. Time frame is very important. Basically, how long can you go without having your money in your pocket? Basically, how long do you need how long before you need this money back to spend on your bills, to pay for gas, to pay for food, things like that. All right, so keep all those in mind. So again, DoorDash was anticipated to have an IPO at $102. Can anybody tell me what DoorDash opened up at? Now, I'm gonna give you a clue. DoorDash IPO price, $102. Open price, a whole lot more. So I'm gonna give a free shirt to the first person, a free Finance Rebel hoodie to the first person that can tell me what the open was. Hey, Miss Edith, how you doing? All right, so DoorDash 87% up on the day. Woo, looking forward to your conversation. All good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, but who knows the actual, 170, 185. All right, everybody's wrong so far. Who's going to come in and get it right? The first person to get it right gets a free Financial Rebel sweatshirt. And I think I'm going to pick the color. The Yell Store, how are you? Jada Mom says 180. Jack the First Three says I look like a young Marvin. Young Marvin in my A. I'm a hustler, homie. You a customer crony. Now, since I just did that, somebody tell me what lyric that is, the song, and also the artist. I'll give that person a free Finance Rebel hoodie as well. All right, Miss Edith got it, 182. And Miss Edith already got a daggone Financial Rebel hoodie. So she's going to get another one. All right. Joseph, I believe I'm saying your name right. If I'm not, correct me. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Marvin said 165. Thad Green says I played today, gotten late, scored a couple, and got out. All right, so Thad, what are you doing? Trading? Dre's Water Ice, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yep, Jay-Z, you got the artist right. Come on, Thad, you can't be stepping away. You got to stay tuned in, brother. Locked in. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. If you are on my Facebook or on my YouTube live, you'll be able to see this. All right, so where am I going? I am going to finance@yahoo.com. All right, so everybody can follow along. We can be in the same book, on the same chapter, and on the same page. Listen, anytime you're trying to do anything, all three of those things are important. All right, so we are going to look up DoorDash, ticker symbol dash, 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 DoorDash Inc. Is the first trading day. Jada Mom, you said 189.50. No, that is the price of the close. It closed at 189.51 today. 189.51 was the close today. It opened at 182 today. Now, here's where a lot of people get confused. Everybody will say, well, the IPO price said 102. Yeah, the IPO price, right, initial public offering, said $182. And yes, that is the IPO price. But, that big old but, EU style, that ain't it, y'all. The price for the public, right, not the bankers, not the hedge fund managers, not the institutional traders and investors, they're the ones who got the 102. But for your average Joe Q citizen, they got it at $182. So it already had bid up. That's really the main reason why I don't like IPOs for the average retail investor. Right? I don't like them. I've talked about this ad nauseum. Now, Jada Mom, I think you're new. I don't know if you've ever been here with me before. Miss Jackie Mayfield, how you doing, lady? I haven't seen you in forever. Hope all is well. Miss Jada Mom, I think you're new, or maybe you've changed your social media name, right? But a lot of people think they were going to get that 102. I don't like that. Why? Because everybody doesn't have access to the 102. Only the big boys, only the big movers and shakers, only the Jay-Z types get access to that 102 number. Everybody else gets the 182. And that's the number that gets bid up. If you ever seen an auction or anything like that, when they say dollar, $1, $1, $2, bid, right? If you're bidding for a car, and let's say starting price is $102, and they say going once, going twice. Now, this is an exaggeration, folks. This isn't how it actually happens. But the stock market is actually an auction function, right? The stock goes to the highest bidder. Now, there's millions of shares out there, so you can come in with your $10 or 10 shares, and you can get that, and you can say, I want to pay 103. You might get filled, you may not. More than likely, you didn't get filled. Now, you could report, say, 10 shares, and you could have put your bid in at 182, where you ask, I always got to look at that. Yeah, I want to say it's the bid. 182, you want to buy it for 182, then they would have filled your order because it would have hit that mark. All right. So DoorDash is now worth $59.696 billion with a big old B, $1 billion, y'all. $59.696 billion. Might as well say 60 billion. It's a $60 billion company from the jump. Now, what happens tomorrow? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. If anybody remembers when Facebook went public, it went up to like 140, 41. I think it IPO'd at like 21. It went up to like 43. And somebody, if you do the research, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I know it went up to like 43-ish. And then it kind of stayed there, and then it fell. It dropped over the next couple of days, weeks, and months. And it went down to like 16, 17 bucks, somewhere around there. Mr. Reed, how you doing, Douglas? Thank you for joining. All right, so Facebook went to like 17 bucks. All right. There's also studies floating around, not for this year, but for every other year. Most IPOs do not, and when I say IPO, I'm talking about buying stock on the actual day it becomes public. All right, most IPOs, when average retail investors buy, they typically lose money. So that's why I am not a fan of IPOs. So Marvin says, so I'm technically correct. Wait, Marvin, do I owe you a hoodie? Let me know. Let me know. All right, so you said you're technically right. Technically right about what exactly? Oh, so I was actually supposed to be sharing the screen. I got a little carried away and I didn't do it. So give me 1 second, and memento, I'll pull the screen up for you. Remember, we're looking at that DoorDash ticker symbol DAS. There's a radio station in my hometown, Philadelphia, that is DAS. That's why I have it confused, y'all. All right, and I grew up listening to WDAS. All right, so here's a screenshot, right, of finance.yahoo.com, and we're highlighting DoorDash. All right, so it closed at 189.51. You'll see that the number there on the left. The number on the right is the after market number, right? So the market is open from 9:30 to 4. Again, from 9:30 in the morning to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So at 4 o'clock, DoorDash closed at 189.51, up 85.79%, roughly 86%, right? It jumped up. Now they're saying it jumped up 87.54%, but everybody didn't have access to buy it at that 102 level. And so here where you see it, hopefully everybody can see it. By the way, my folks on YouTube and Facebook, let me know if you can see this screen. All right. All right, so it says previous close. It never opened before, right? So the previous close was the IPO price, $102, and it says the open. So here, the first print, right? This is the first transaction that went off was for $182, and that's what Yahoo, or that's what finance.yahoo.com has listed. All right. Now, how did the price swings today? They swung the day's range. The low was $163.80, and the high for the day was $195.50. All right. And so it looked like it hit that. Let's see, when did it hit that $195.50? I don't see where it hit that 195.50, but it's there. It's there. It happened. So again, $82. The open price was $82. Excuse me. The open price was $182. I'm tripping. All right. The open price was $182. All right. You got to remember to add that one before the 82. And that's what the general public paid for that stock today. $182. It had 25 million shares today, roughly. Traded 25 million shares. So people were happy about this. Now, what should you be doing when you want to research an IPO? Now, I've already told you, I gave you all a disclosure. I am not a fan of IPOs, and I told you why. However, if it's a good company, it's cool. I just say don't wait, don't buy it on the first day. I say buy it a week later, a month later, a day later. I say just watch it, because if it's really a good company, it'll be fine. A lot of times, a lot of our investment dreams get crushed by FOMO, wanting to not miss out on the hype that's going on out there. But if the company is solid, the company will be solid, just like a relationship, right? If you miss a day talking to your boo thing, it'll be all right. He or she will be there. He, she, or they, because now we have to account for all the pronouns, right? He, she, or they will be there if it's really true, if it's really meant to be. So I wouldn't really worry. I wouldn't really worry about trying to be the first one in on the first day of trading on an IPO. I would wait. I would wait a day. I'd wait a day or two. Oh, Veroniqua, I believe I'm saying it right. I met you yesterday or the day before on Clubhouse. Great conversation. Actually, I've been meaning to talk about that. Drama-free Leo is in the house. How you doing, lady? Hey, Melantha. Melantha, you got to get on Clubhouse. All right. So again, 102. Now, when you're looking up an IPO, I suggest everyone to do their due diligence, do their homework. Please do your research. There's a lot of companies out here that are getting a lot of price appreciation or stock appreciation, and the companies are trash. The companies don't make any money. Oh, my son is making his weekly appearance. You going to get on camera with me today, son?
Where is the trash can?
Oh, you coming to get the trash? You don't want to be seen?
No.
I'm trying to make my son a superstar, y'all, but he doesn't want to do it. Too much publicity. Okay. But he is the comedian, right? So back to regular conversation. All right. So DoorDash, research an IPO, which is the initial public offering. I would say you all should look at the S1. All right. So just Google whatever company it is you're looking up that's about to go public, and Google the S1. All right. So I just Googled S1. I just Googled DoorDash S1. All right. I don't want to read the whole thing, but I am going to show it on the screen real quick so everybody can see it. If I showed the whole thing, everybody would probably fall asleep on me tonight. I don't want y'all to fall asleep on me. These things aren't that riveting. They're not that exciting. Well, for a guy like me, for a nerd like me, they're exciting, but not really. I'm just being honest with y'all. Just keeping it real. All right. So I'm going to share the screen because I want y'all to see this S1. I want y'all to see what an S1 looks like. I want y'all to understand the process you should be going through if you are indeed going to invest in an IPO. And while you're doing that, right, do me a favor, share this out. Share this with someone who's interested in IPOs. Seems like everybody's interested in IPOs these days. Share this out with anybody who's interested in investing in the stock market or looking to create wealth or just looking to understand finance at a deeper and better level. All right. Jedi Mace Window, how are you? Welcome back this week, sir. All right. So I have on the screen right now the S1. Now let me see if I can blow this up some. Let me blow it up some because it's super small and it doesn't look good at all. And anybody in the watching audience and the listening audience, let me know if you can see it. I don't think you can. So I just shut down the share. So I'm going to blow this up. All right. Now, as we're watching, as I wait to pull this back up on the screen, I want you to all understand that there are a lot of people who are in on this deal before anyone else. People like SoftBank. If you've never heard of SoftBank, Google SoftBank. It's a Japanese company. It's a Japanese like venture capitalist company that invests billions and billions of dollars in new startup companies. And they are making out like a fat rat on this IPO. All right. So all the people that really make out on IPOs initially usually are the founders, right? The people that started the venture, anybody who invested in the venture early on. Those are the folks who typically make the most money in these IPOs. And then the public. But again, the public has to go through all the ups and downs and swings of the market as it gets the beginning going on. All right. Oh, okay. All right. All right, cool. Listen, Marvin, I don't want you to feel like I cheated you. Oh man, Monique Dean is testing my musical gangster right now. She's asking me, do I remember WDAS's original theme song? I do not. I probably will remember if I hear it. I'll have to search. All right, Latoya. So Latoya said she's answering my earlier question. She said she got her order ready. Oh, so you're getting your order ready for tomorrow. So you are going to be buying Airbnb. I'm expecting, right? Latoya, let me know if that is factual or infactual. I don't want to be like the Cheeto head that lives in the White House. Manny Smith, how are you, sir? Welcome. All right, so just going through some of the comments before we go through the S1. Now, remember, again, if you are planning to invest in the IPO, you want to read the S1. So I have the S1 on the screen right now so we can all go through it. Just saying hello to all the peeps. Marvin, all right, so Marvin said he's still waiting on his first hoodie. Marvin, do me a favor, send me an inbox so I can take care of that. I always strive to be a man of my word. I'm not perfect. I'm not Black Jesus, but, I do believe a man is his word and a word is his man, if that even makes sense. But I have to stay by my word. So if I told you were going to get a hoodie, then I will get you a hoodie, sir. All right, so yeah, it hit early. There was a lot of anticipation for it. Maddox 12, how you doing? Thanks for joining us today. Adrian's here. How you doing? Yeah, that DoorDash, that DoorDash hit different. All right, I just zoomed in. Let me know if that's good now, Maddox. All right, Monique, we talking buddy now, not music. Only I can throw in musical references. All right. So, all right, let's look at this. So this is the Schedule S1. It can be found on the SEC's website, sec.gov. All right, they have a whole thing called EGGR, and this holds all of the filings for all publicly traded companies. It's really great bedtime reading, though, by the way, y'all. So if any of y'all ever have a case of insomnia, just read an S1 or a 10Q or a 10K. Trust me, it'll put you right out to sleep. All right, so on the front page, it just tells you who it is, DoorDash Inc., where they incorporated at, right? They incorporated in the state of Delaware. It actually gives you their EIN number, their IRS EIN number, their employee identification number. So it gives you where they're founded at and who's running the spot. All right, and then it goes through a bunch of disclosures about the Securities Act of 1933, which only people like me who were previously licensed had to worry about, but it is important because it shows that they've gone through the due diligence. All right, and so here is what they are offering, where it says title of each class of securities to be registered, right? So every time a company makes a public offering, they have to register it with the SEC. And so here's a Class A common stock. The par value is an accounting term. I'm not going to nerd out on y'all too much. All right, but it's an accounting value, right? It says par value. They got to give a value to the stock. And so its par value is 0.00001. And so they're going to offer it says here $100 million. This is $100 million offering. And the registration fee they paid was $10,910. Okay. Mama of the J's, how are you? Welcome. Mid-Atlantic, how are you? Miss Whitney, how are you? Big Bear 79, how are you? Welcome, y'all. Happy Wednesday. All right, so it gives you all these things. So that par value is kind of an arbitrary number. It's just there because in order to give something value, it has to have value. All right. Now we know that the $100,000 offering, that's what they're putting up, is not what the company is worth now. The company is worth now, what do we say, 59 billion or 60 billion, something like that. All right. So you want to keep going down. You want to read through. Now this document is, oh man, I lost the page view. Let me see. Since I blew it up, I can't get it. It's normally several hundred pages. Again, I know y'all don't want to read several hundred pages, but here you'll read, they have three classes of authorized common stock. So they have three classes of stock. All right. So this is important. So they have a class A common stock, they have a class B common stock, and they have a class C. All right. And then, so when you have these different classes, this is a good point here. When you have different classes of stock, they typically have different rights. Usually one stock may have greater voting ability than the other. This is important to know and understand, right? So the rights of the holders of Class A common stock, Class B common stock, Class B common stock are identical. So Class A and Class B are the same, except with respect to voting and conversion. All right. Now they're getting fancy on us. Each share of Class A common stock is entitled to 1 share. Each share of Class B stock is entitled to 20 votes per share. Let me reread that again. Each share of Class A common stock is entitled to 1 vote per share. Each share of Class B common stock is entitled to 20 votes per share and is convertible at any time into 1 share of Class A common stock. That's interesting. All right, so shares of Class C common stock have no voting rights, except as otherwise required by law. All right, so we see the power here is in the Class B and the Class A stocks. You want to know what you're buying, folks, right? You always hear the people say, when you buy a car, you want to test drive the car, you want to kick the tires, you want to pop the hood, you want to see what's underneath the hood. So when you are reviewing an IPO, reading the S1 is seeing what's under the hood. Reading all of this jargon is really seeing what's under the hood. Again, it might be boring, but if you're serious about your investments, you'll give it a gander. You'll take a look at it. Put your reading glasses on, get a cup of coffee, and get comfortable for a little while. All right, so this is just the fancy, snazzy stuff as I scroll down the screen. They have some tacos. By the way, if y'all don't notice, I love tacos, like literally love tacos. If you put a bowl of tacos in front of me or a plate of tacos in front of me, I might just eat a ball. You might just be mad at me. You might be calling me greedy at the end of the day. Just a side note. So if you ever want to become really good friends with me, get me some tacos. But they got to be good tacos. All right. But here, again, they're showing all kinds of pasta. Basically, DoorDash is a delivery service. It's a food delivery service. By the way, DoorDash delivery service, their food delivery service is bigger than Uber's. Just a side note. All right, so here we have their mission. All right, so it's to grow, empower local economies. Why is that important? Well, you want to know where the company's focus is. All right, and listen, just like real estate, business is local. The restaurants they're serving, they act local. Sometimes microly local, right? If y'all get that right, it might just be in a specific neighborhood. All right, so here we go down. Keep going down. Like I said, I'm not going to read all this. I'm not going to do that to y'all. I'm not going to punish and torture you all like that. I don't think anybody wants to listen to the sound of my voice just reading text of an S1. All right, so this is important. This shows you they have 18 million plus consumers. Anybody know that already? Did y'all know DoorDash was servicing 18 million consumers? All right, they're also servicing 390,000 plus merchants. All right, and so they have 1 million plus dashers. So the dashers are the people who are actually out delivering the food. All right, they're the number 1 U.S. category share. They are number 1 in their category, right? So to deliver food, they are number 1. Then here you have a letter from Tony. I believe it's a Chinese name. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But Tony Shi or Tony Zhu, co-founder and CEO. I'm not going to read that. All right. I talked about his mom getting here for $250. I'm not going to read that. All right. Now here we start to get into the guts of it. How does DoorDash work? Merchant services, logistics alone. However, will not help physical businesses compete. How do you acquire customers in a world where they are no longer walking inside your stores? All right, what products should you make today and in the future? How should you price your products? How do you build customer relationships over time? All right. So then it says DoorDash is much more than an application that connects merchants, consumers, and dashers by facilitating delivery. We provide a broad array of services that enable merchants to solve mission-critical challenges such as customer acquisition. For anybody that's in business, that just means how do they get more customers? How do they get more clients? All right. Delivery, insights, and analytics, merchandising, payment processing, and customer support, and to fulfill demand generated through their own channels. This is just the beginning. We strive to become a merchant's first call when they want to grow their business. All right. They also have a membership program. And then they begin to talk about how they operate. By the way, if anybody is a soon-to-be entrepreneur, aspiring to be entrepreneur, or an entrepreneur right now that has their own business, I would suggest you read S1s. I don't care if you want to do your own delivery service. I don't care if you want to be the next Airbnb, right? They are giving you the whole kit and caboodle, right? The whole enchilada, the whole entree for you to kind of look at their business and say, hey, how can I apply this to my business? Can I get one idea out of this? By the way, these companies spend a boatload of money doing this research, typing this up. So it's not just some willy-nilly kind of cavalier thing they just kind of slapped together with some duct tape. Like some real thought went into this thing. All right. So here they talk about some more things. I want to just really go into the financials here, but I wanted to show you this, right? Every financial statement, every SEC financial statement has a table of contents, right? And usually what you can do is there are two sections. I don't care if it's the S1, the 8K, or the 10Q. No, I'm saying those wrong. 8Q and a 10K. One's annual and one is quarterly. You want to read the management discussion and analysis section. That's also called the MDA. All right, so you definitely want to read that. If anybody's taking notes, make note of that. So anytime you're researching a company and you're pulling up their annual reports or their quarterly reports or just their S1, which is their very, very first report to the public, you want to read that. All right. And then you also want to read who the principal stakeholders are. And you also want to read, there's usually a projections view here. You want to read executive compensation, right? Because a lot of times executives get options. They get stock options. And you want to know when those stock options become eligible for trade. Usually they're not available right away because a lot of people know their employees will start to sell out and bankroll their money. Because a lot of times these companies, the way they attract people, attract talent, is they give them stock options. So they've been waiting for a long time to kind of cash in. But what happens is if you give them that right, that ability to cash in the very, very beginning, they'll sell their stuff. And that potentially could artificially tank the stock price. Potentially. All right. So index to consolidated financial statements. So that's what we want to look at. So they own Caviar too. I didn't know that. I did not know that. So I want to look at statement of operations, which I'm sure is a P&L or profit and loss statement. All right. And so when you look at these statements, again, remember they do these things to be formatted. So you'll see 3 digits. So right, it says revenue. So year-end revenue for December 31st, 2018 and 2019. So in 2018, it says 291. And then in 2019, it says 885. All right. And by themselves, you're like, well, what does that mean? So these are denominated by millions, which means you want to add 7 zeros behind it. You want to add 7 zeros behind it. So you want to add 7 zeros behind 291, then add 7. You want to add 7 zeros behind 885. Add zeros. That is your ultimate number. That's the number you want to be talking about, right? Because it's no longer just 291. It's more like $1 billion, right? So 2.91 billion in the year ending of 2018 and 8.85 billion in 2019. Now that was just their revenue. Now they spent money on sales and marketing, research and development, general administration. They got some depreciation in there. Depreciation is basically a fancy term for how do you take an expense for something that has a life, right? As an asset, like a building, right? Like a piece of real estate. Usually you're not going to be able to write it all off in 1 year because it will have use to the owner. And again, I don't want to get too technical on y'all, but I do want you to kind of understand the basics. All right. And so at the end of the day, DoorDash lost $204 million in year ending 2018, and they lost $667 million in the year ending of 2019. Interesting. So we just bid up a company. Now, I don't know what the quarters have done throughout 2020, right? But basically, the market has just bid up a company that's a loser, that's having a negative gain. Oh, kind of like that other company, that car company that nobody wants to call a car company, called Tesla, right? Everybody's starting to say Tesla's not a car company. The majority of their revenues, of the company's revenues, are derived from car sales. So until that shifts, and listen, I get it. I know they got a bunch of other tech and things like that, but until that shifts, they're a car company. If it drives like a car and sounds like a car and beeps like a car, then it's a car, in my opinion. So when you look at that, you see that it's not doing that great. But I'm assuming everybody is getting it because they feel it has potential. They feel it has potential. So, all right, that's kind of the rough and dirty on DoorDash, right? Like I said, the IPO price was 102. It opened up today at 182, y'all. 182, $182. Then it closed the day at $189.51, roughly $191, up roughly 86%. So, I mean, the stock did good. The early investors did good, but the newbies, not so much. Yeah, so Marvin said it right. He says, reading the S1, okay, there was some good insight on brainstorming business ideas from reading company S1. Makes sense since they already did the research. Yes, we have to leverage every little bit we got, right? All right, makes sense. They already did the research and think tank on their business approach. Absolutely. And they are number one in the category, right? And just because a company is losing today doesn't mean they'll continue to lose tomorrow. But I'm always wondering when they'll become profitable. To me, that's what's most important. All right, so let's catch up on it, and then we will shift over to Airbnb. Can anybody tell me what the process is going to be for me to look at Airbnb? Anybody want to take a guess? All right, so Thaddeus says, why has Pfizer been so low and Madeira and Bio running high, even though Madeira is trending down? I'll have to look. I would venture to say because Pfizer is a much bigger company, so it takes a whole lot more for them to move. But I haven't really looked at them. I know the whole market is hyped up, popped up on vaccine use. Manuel Smith was just on. I don't know if he's still on. He was telling me that CNBC had a V-Day, vaccine day. I know they've been administering the vaccine to some people today and yesterday at a very low distribution. Or, distribution's fine. They're giving it out to a little bit of people, a small sample size. All right. So, Maddox 12 is on the PC now. Okay, you can see good. All right. Hey, Angela, how you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. It is Wealthy Wednesday. Listen, if y'all want to share this out, help me grow, share this out to someone who wants to learn more about money, wants to learn more about investing, wants to learn more about taxes, get ready to build more wealth. Share the show with them. By the way, while we're about to pull up while we are about to pull up the Airbnb S1. Has anybody actually listened to the podcast yet? Has anybody listened to the podcast yet? The Finance Rebel Show. So if you've not listened to it, or if you're not a recurring listener to it, head on over, just Google the Finance Rebel podcast, type it in, give it a listen, and make sure you give a rating and review. All right. So Latoya says, I got the Dash Pass. I got the Dash Pass. That's funny. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. All right. So Mr. DSPN said, yes, sir. All right. So have you left the review yet, DSPN? I need my reviews. I need my ratings. The more reviews, the more ratings I have, the more I can brag about the show, the more I can help attract people to the show, and hopefully help people get their finances in order, begin the journey to get their finances in order. So Jav_NFT, how are you? Welcome. Trades World TMC, welcome. Knitter 101. Oh, you must be serious about that knitting life. All right, so welcome. What do you knit? I'm interested to know. What do you knit? All right, so we're going to shift over, right? Matter of fact, that what I'll do is, let me do something real quick for my man Thad. So since he's asking about Pfizer, let's look at Pfizer real quick. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on Pfizer. I will say this, and I've kind of said it already. Everybody's expecting this vaccine to get to the market right away, lickety split. I don't think that's going to happen, y'all. The logistics of just getting it to market, to getting it to millions and millions of people is crazy. Also, I wonder how many people are really going to be the first in line to take this thing. All right, so Knitter 101 says she makes shawls. All right, that's dope. All right, so Pfizer right now is a $232 billion company. Again, 232. All right, it closed today at 42.56. Year to date, again, it closed at 41.85. It's not giving me the number, so I got to do this raw in my head. 36. It started the year at 36.76, so that's about $5. So it's up year to date about 11%, and it also has a dividend as well. All right. So let me put that on the screen for you all real quick. Again, I apologize to my IG folks. I can only share the screen with Instagram. Excuse me. I can only share the screen with Facebook and YouTube. But hopefully I'm doing a good enough description that everybody can follow along, because these are always shared on the podcast. So make sure you go share the podcast. Y'all see what I did there? Go listen to the podcast. So pulling up Pfizer. All right, and then we'll pull up Moderna. Everybody should be able to see this. Everybody should be able to see this. All right, so Ms. Edith says she wants a light blue hoodie. I don't have light blue. I have royal blue. And I have some new designs I'm about to put up on the store too. So you all can get ready. Y'all can give some merch to some of your loved ones. Encourage them to take finances and money and taxes serious, so we can leave an inheritance for our children's children. All right, so man, that's too small. All right, so there's Pfizer. I blew it up as big as I could. Again, 41.85. All right, so the other thing I want to do is, you used to be able to compare on here, but I don't see that anymore. All right, so I'll just look at Moderna. So y'all keep that in mind, right? It's up about 10% year to date, give or take. Math might be a little bit off. All right, Moderna, ticker symbol mRNA. By the way, Pfizer's ticker symbol is PFE. Also, folks, know that these are not investment recommendations. They are not recommendations to buy or sell. This is not investment advice. Before you buy or sell any security, any investment, please have a conversation with your investment and tax advisor. Remember that Past performance is not a future indicator of future results. Basically, all that means is that what happened in the past doesn't matter in the future. Kind of like a good relationship, right? What happened in the past shouldn't happen in the future. Shouldn't matter in the future. Shouldn't. All right, so Moderna is trading at 156. Today it closed down almost 8%. And let's see. Whoa, yeah, Moderna is through the roof. I might have to retake my statements. So I would say the market's expectation of Moderna to do better than Pfizer is being represented in the stock price. So I would say investors are more excited about Moderna than they are about Pfizer. I mean, because you see in the beginning of the year, when the year first started, the stock was $17.78. $17.78. And so that is not a lot of money in comparison to what it is right now. All right, so right now it is $156. Now, I'm not going to try to figure out the ROI on this. I'm going to use my handy dandy calculator, which you hear in the background. And so the way you figure this out, right, because everything can be a learning experience, is you take the current price right now, $156.59. Okay. I then subtract, what was it, $17.78. That was the price in the beginning of the year. So we have a profit of $138.81. All right, so you take that $138.81 and you divide it by $17.78. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so that's like almost a 700% rise, 700 plus. So Moderna is kicking butt. Again, I'm not on the vaccine horse when it comes to the likelihood of these vaccines getting to market without a hitch, and also for them to get the economy back on track, because there's so many other things that have been derailed by Corona and COVID-19 that it's not funny. All right. So that's what we got there for that. Thad, I hope I answered your question. I didn't talk about biotech. I'll try to come back to that one to see if we can get any further along. I don't want to keep y'all here all night. And guess what? I still have my plate of food right here that I'm not eating because y'all told me it wasn't cool for me to eat on camera. Kelly's Closet is in the building. How are you, Kelly? Welcome. All right, so Miss Edith said my royal blue hoodie is fine. Miss Edith, if I send you another hoodie, you gotta model it for you. You gotta take a picture of it and share it with the world. All right, so Marvin says, yeah, I was listening yesterday to the major delivery companies talking about the process they have to implement just to package and ship the vaccines out, since it has to be maintained at a very low temperature. Right. The shipping logistics alone are insane. Now, who can ship that? I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 companies. Will they do a third party, like a third party or in-house solution? Maybe. But I wonder if FedEx, UPS, or maybe DHL, or let's call it 4, or the post office is somehow involved in shipping and distributing the vaccine. Because those are the only folks that I can think of that have the infrastructure to do that in a very smooth and precise fashion. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Who all can ship the vaccine in a meaningful way? Is there anybody else? Am I missing someone? Okay, so Marvin agrees with me. All right, cool. So let's look at Airbnb, y'all. Let's look at Airbnb. All right, so Airbnb's ticker symbol is going to be ABNB. Airbnb. ABNB. Sherwin 1906. How are you? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. All right, so it does not have a price just yet, and I'm going to show y'all this on the screen. I want y'all to have context when y'all looking at these things. The more we talk about these things, the more we do deep dives into these things, the better you'll be able to understand them, the better you'll be able to invest in them. All right, and you don't have to be subjected to some overnight success of a social media guru telling you to buy investments because they learned how to do that. They learned how to do it this year from their sister's cousin's brother's best friend. All right. So let me share the screen on this because, again, I want you to see it all. I want you to see it all. Okay, so there's Airbnb, right? Again, ticker symbol ABNB. ABNB. Again, this is not an investment recommendation. This is not investment advice. Anytime you do an investment, make sure you do your homework and you do your due diligence. It's your money and it's your money to lose. It's also your money to make. So if you want to be able to make it with free and unencumbered, I don't know why I'm jacking words up tonight. You got to be able to also take the risk. Hey, Angela. I don't want to say your name wrong. Travin, let me know. I hate messing the names up. Travin Chappelle says the way Amazon has been building logistics, they may just jump in the race. Good point. Good points. I don't think. I know they have a fleet. They have a fleet of airlines or air. What am I saying, y'all? They have a fleet of planes. That's what I'm trying to say. They have a fleet of planes, but I don't know if it's big enough to distribute. However, they can always lease more, right? They have the money to do that. They have the money to lease more. And they clearly have a good ground game. Amazon still ships a lot of their stuff, though, through UPS and FedEx. I forget what, there's one carrier that has more volume than the other, but they use both. They use both. All right, so it's zero, right? Airbnb right now is zero. All right, so all y'all don't know that. Let's pull this up real quick. Let me see. All right, so Airbnb's price, the initial public offering, is going to be $68. 68 smackaroos. And I think this is going to play the video, and I really don't want to hear the video. So let me pause it. All right. So Airbnb price initial public offering. Airbnb prices initial public offering at $68, above target range. All right. So again, this will give you a little bit more context on this. When these companies go public, they usually work with a bunch of investment banks, right? Not your regular neighborhood community bank, but your investment banks. People like your Morgan Stanleys, your Goldman Sachs, your JP Morgans, and there's a few others, but those are kind of the big players in the space. So they get with them, they go through the process, they kind of sit around and they figure out, hey, what can we do to get the most bang for our buck? How much should we sell this for? How many people will buy this? And then they do their models and they figure out a price. And so the price they had, I wanted to say, well, let me back up. They come up with a target amount they want to raise. Then they figure out how many shares they want to put out to get to the price, because everybody is sensitive about price. Even though price really doesn't matter anymore because of fractional share buying, everybody is still sensitive about price. So when people see like a Berkshire Hathaway stock that's at like 300,000 or 400,000, they don't even think about buying it because they get sticker shock. All right. So originally they were looking at selling 51.6 million shares at between $56 and $60 a piece, right? So, all right, so let me read this to you all. So just kind of tie it all together. So earlier this week, the San Francisco-based company had said it planned to raise as much as $3.61 billion after offering 51.6 shares, and that's a million, right? 51.6 million shares at $56 to $60. That range was in turn raised from $44 to $50 shares, and that was in early December. So things really change quickly because they're trying to see what's going on with the market. They're trying to see what everybody's temperature and appetite is for these new investments. Are people in the mood, right? And so they will change the price at the drop of a dime. All right. So just keep that in mind, y'all, as we go through these things. Now, what we're going to do next. Can anybody tell me what we're going to do next? What are we going to do? Airbnb. I'm going to the Googles. right? Airbnb S1. I'm looking up the Airbnb S1. We just looked at the DoorDash S1. Everybody has access to this information. If you have a telephone or a smartphone, which I know a lot of us do, you can get access to this information. There's no excuse not to get access to this information, folks. You're making investments. You're using your money. You work hard for your money. So if you work hard for your money, you want to do the due diligence it takes to protect your money, right? And honor the hard work that it took to make that money. All right. So let's pull up the screen. Remember, I was pulling up the S1 for Airbnb. Let's see. Is this the one? That ain't the one, y'all. My apologies. Right. Let's talk about DoorDash. Joe Brown, how you doing? DJ Stones, how you doing? Kelly, you want me to look up NIL? Do you own it? Leo Lady. And NIO is it's a electronic vehicle company. I want to say they're the one that makes the batteries, but I gotta double check myself. All right, right. This is the wrong S1. Give me 1 second, y'all, while I get the right S1 up on the screen for you all. So you're considering it. All righty. So S1 for Airbnb. Here we go. Boom. And that looks very small. So let's blow it up. Let's blow it up. Let's see if I can make it bigger. So I maximize about 250%. That's off the screen now. Let's see. Can y'all see that? Let me know. My people on Facebook, my people on YouTube, let me know if you can see that. All right. And listen, this is the same deal. Same deal as the S1 from DoorDash, right? The first page tells you who they are, right? Where they're incorporated at. This is Airbnb Inc. They're located in Delaware. They're incorporated in Delaware. Listen, any business can be incorporated in just about any other 50 states and some of the protectorates. I do not recommend that for everyday people. You got a lot of social media guru shenanigan people out here, or shenanigan gurus out here. I think that's the term, shenanigan gurus, right? All right. And they might recommend something like that. Most people aren't in that league. And if they are in that league, they're not looking on social media for their advice. All right. So Brian Chesky is the CEO of Airbnb. It's located in San Francisco, California, zip code 94103. All right. And then you see they also have their EIN number there. So the company's registered with the IRS. The company's registered with the SEC, or the Securities and Exchange Commission, which oversees all IPOs, and they also oversee all publicly traded companies, any of their issuance. So as we go down and we break down this IPO, can anybody remember anything from the last IPO? What I said, what are some of the things you should be looking for? What should you be reading over? First stop. All right, so this offering they're putting out now is Class A common shares. Again, par value is 0.001. Remember, I said it's just a accounting term, accounting jargon, just to have something there. It's more like a placeholder. And they are looking to raise $1 billion. And their registration fee is $109,000, $109,100. Now, their registration fee is 10 times more than what DoorDash's was. But I can't remember how much DoorDash was proposing to offer initially. All right, so I just adjusted the size on y'all, so your eyes are not playing tricks on you. For those who are just listening to audio, it doesn't matter. Just pay attention to the sound of my voice. All right, so here it's just telling you again. Remember, I said you want to look at this. They have 4 series of class shares, or they have 4 series of common stocks. They have 4 different types of common stock. They have Class A, Class B, Class C, and Class H. And so again, you need to read through these and see what the difference is. Now, Class B is an available sale. Class C isn't available for sale. The only thing that's going to be available for sale is Class A. So let's read what Class A is. Each share of Class A common stock is entitled to 1 vote. Each share of Class B common stock is entitled to 20 votes, right? You see a theme here. And they have these different classes. So many of the stakeholders and the founders remain in control or have a large advantage of remaining in control. All right. And okay. And remember, I just talked about the investment bank. So here it is, right? These are the companies that are underwriting it. Basically, these are the companies that are going to be able to sell this stock to other people buying it. All right. So you have your Morgan Stanley's, your Goldman Sachs, your Allen and Company, your Bank of America Securities, Barclays, Citigroup, BNP Paribas, Masumo, Credit Suisse. I won't read them all, but those are kind of the lead underwriters of this. And they're basically going to pump this out to other broker dealers, other investors, people who are looking to get this into the market. Let me know if y'all following along or if I am putting y'all to sleep. All right. Put a 1 in the chat if you got this all together. All right. So we're going to go to table of contents. Hold on. All right. Well, I'm going to look through a couple of the picks real quick. I'm not going to click on the table of contents, right? So in the beginning, 2 friends opened their doors. So they're telling the story of Airbnb, right? Brian and Joe, our first hosts. And so if you guys don't notice, the hosts are the people who are renting their properties to the guests. Sometimes the hosts actually stay there. I have some clients who do Airbnb, and they will be the hosts, and they will let people rent their rooms, or they will rent their rooms to people that may come in town or need somewhere to stay. Sometimes they're short-term stays. Sometimes they're extended stays. You have some hosts who do a whole bunch of events with people and take them around, do sightseeing, make them breakfast, fix their beds, clean them up. They're all good. Some just give you access to the property and you keep going. All right. And so here they're just showing all the different types of hosts, and I'm assuming all the different types of people who use Airbnb. Now, again, I just want to talk about this just a little bit. Airbnb, some of the hosts on Airbnb have been identified to be racist as well. They only want to rent to a certain type of person. And anybody with any kind of imagination will understand or know what type of person they want to rent to. They typically don't want to rent to a certain type of person too. And I'm sure you can use your imagination for that as well. Now, Airbnb supposedly has cracked down on that. But you never know. You never know. All right. So 13 years later, 4 million Airbnb hosts have opened theirs. And so we do see diversity amongst many of the hosts. I do see that. All right. And so then when you look at the table of contents, again, does anybody remember what I said you should be looking for when you're reading any of these documents that are at the SEC, that have been delivered to the SEC, prepared and given to the SEC? Which segments do you want to look at particularly, right? Or in particular? So a lot of times I will look at the risk factors. Can anybody guess what some of the risk factors are for Airbnb? Y'all ain't dumb. Y'all smart. Y'all got this. All right. So let's just take a quick gander at risk factors. Risks related to our business. The COVID-19 pandemic and the impact of actions to mitigate the COVID-19 pandemic has materially adversely impacted and will continue to materially adversely impact our business, results of operations, and financial conditions. That's just letting everybody know that COVID's here, is messing up their business, and they're having a hard time with it. So I would read things like that, because sometimes it'll let you know what's going on. What are they thinking about? What's their thought process? It will also let you know some things that you might have not thought about. Okay. So I also suggest you all read the MDA, or the Management Discussion and Analysis, right? So it says, they're giving you definitions, right? So an active booker is a unique guest. Active listing is a listing that's live, right? And so the MDH section will kind of give you a good overview of what the business is about and where the leadership actually sees this business going. So that's why it's important to read that. All right. And so again, I don't want to spend all night reading this. Plus, I'm really starting to get hungry. And I said I wasn't going to eat in front of y'all. I'm trying to be nice, try to be hospitable, polite. All right. So again, it just tells, the story of how they're renting, how strangers are renting their houses a lot of times to strangers, because that's how it started. All right. And then I'm sure you can all guess where I want to go next. I want to see where the cash is at. All right. So remember, I talked about the different denominations, right? They have different denominations for different formatting. And so for this here, this will be depicted in thousands. So you add 3 zeros behind it. So in 2015, I don't know what I'm thinking about. In 2015, Airbnb did revenues of $919 million, almost $1 billion. In 2016, they did 1.6 billion. In 2017, they did 2.5 billion. In 2018, they did 3.6 billion. In 2019, they did 4.8 billion. 4.8 billion. Now, are they profitable? That's what I want to know. And in each one of those years, they had a big fat loss. So 135 billion in 2015, 147 billion in 2016, 70 million in 2018, roughly 16 million in 2018. So the losses are starting to go down. And they had a big fat loss of 674 million in 2019. That's worrisome, especially since COVID didn't start until 2020. But I want to say this. When looking at these companies, you actually want to know when their fiscal year is, because a lot of them do not follow a calendar year schedule, right? So what's the difference between calendar year and fiscal year? Calendar year is the business operates from January 1 to December 31st. All right. Fiscal year could be they operate from June 1st to May 31st of the next year. So you need to know that, because sometimes these years will split out. So for example, 2019, this major loss could be part of COVID. I don't know, but you definitely want to do the due diligence and read through that and figure out what kind of year they're following. And so Airbnb could have some potential. Coming out of $68 a share. And that's the IPO price. Remember, that is not the open price. Again, regular mom and pop investors, retail investors will only get the open price, not the IPO price. You only get the IPO price if you are already linked in with one of the big banks or have gotten some kind of other access in the back door, like you're an employee, or there are sometimes some of these private listings where you can get access to them. All right. So Hab Day. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. I did DoorDash already. You got here late, bro. Or lady. Well, I say bro to ladies too. Don Johnson, how are you, sir? All right, so Deidre got it, is getting it. Deidre is getting it. Adrian's getting it. So I just did DoorDash. This will be up. You could always watch the replay. At some point, I'll try to break them out, make them a little shorter. I haven't been able to get to them because I know nobody wants to watch like an hour-long video unless you're actually there live. I'm sure that probably kills some of my performance on some of these platforms. But, it's for me, it's a good time to kind of fellowship with y'all and talk some stock, talk some money. All right, so what do y'all think about Airbnb? What do you think about DoorDash? Hickey's here, Crystal Ball, the brand is here, and Stephen Canvas is here on IG. So welcome, everybody. So Joe Brown says, so are you saying you did a straddle? You did a straddle on stocks on Robinhood? I'm not totally following you, Joe. Great question. So Mid-Atlantic asks, is it better to wait 30 days on Airbnb? Again, as I said at the top of the broadcast, I am not a fan of buying IPOs. Just for, reiterate that for people just joining. Why am I not a fan of buying IPOs? Because of what happened to DoorDash today, right? The IPO price was $102, but the stock did not open at $102. It opened at $182 and then closed today at $189. So that's still good. That's still performance. But again, your average person is not going to get in at the 189, at the 102 price. That's only for the special ones. That's only for the 1% or more folks, right? And that's okay. That's okay. There's plenty of investments to get access to look at, to put your money in. You got plenty of places to go. So Mid-Atlantic, I would wait at least 3 to 5 days to see what the excitement's going to be. Again, that is not investment recommendations. This is not investment advice. All right. Make sure you talk with your investment advisor / tax advisor before you make any investment moves. All right. Past performance is not an indicator of future results. Yes, Finesse, how are you? Welcome. So I would wait. I do think I think Airbnb is interesting. I definitely think the business will increase as COVID gets more in check, if it can be put in check. I know everybody's excited about it. So, I'll be patiently waiting to see. But when outside opens back up, I think it'll be positive for Airbnb. I don't know if it'll be positive for for DoorDash. I don't know when we can go back outside will be positive for DoorDash. But the question again will be, is how long will we be inside? How long will we have stay in place orders? I just saw that the governor of my state in PA has corona. The mayor of my city is self-isolating right now because he's been exposed to corona. So this thing is impacting everybody. As a matter of fact, just saw that that the Cheeto Hitler impersonator head flunky in charge, the lawyer dude, has coronavirus as well. And they didn't believe it. That's why they didn't wear a mask. They didn't think anything was cool. Or they didn't think anything could hurt them. But like the whole White House is like a super spreader event every day. But nobody cares about that. So Mid-Atlantic says car could be a sleeper stock. Is that Carrier? Is that Carrier? Let's pull it up real quick. Carrier, it is Carrier. Wow, look at that. Queen Stance, how are you? Welcome. Carrier Global is 37.84. Now, all I did was go to finance.yahoo.com. I typed in CARR into the quote lookup box, and it brought me all the statistics about car. So let's talk about it real quick, and then I'm going to wrap up and go eat my vittles, y'all. Y'all know I need my foods. All right, so car is a $32.7 billion company, so we in the big boys. All right, it closed today at $37.30. It pays a dividend of 32 cents per share. All right. What does car do? What can car do for you today? Now we know they're a Carrier. So let's look at it. So Car Global Corporation provides heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. Now, why does Mid-Atlantic think that this could be a sleeper? Carrier Global Corporation provides heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, refrigeration, fire, security, and building automation technologies worldwide. It operates through 3 segments: HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, right? Refrigeration, those are usually refrigerators, and fire and safety. So the HVAC segment provides products, conditioners, heating systems, controls, aftermarket components, as well as aftermarket repair. So they got the whole vertical integration going on here. So they manufacture the product and they repair the product. So they got everything from the ground to the bottom and everything in between. The refrigeration segment offers transport. Let me read this again. The refrigeration segment offers transport refrigeration products and services, including refrigeration and monitoring systems for trucks, trailers, shipping containers, intermodal, and rail, and commercial refrigeration solutions such as refrigerated cabinets, freezers, systems, and controllers. The fire and security segment provides various residential and building systems, including fire, flame, gas, and carbon monoxide. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because I don't want to bore you all. But why do y'all think Mid-Atlantic finds that to be interesting, to potentially be a sleeper stock? All right, that'll be the last question of the night. But why do y'all think that is? Mid-Atlantic, tell me why you picked that. Why do you think it's a sleeper stock? I think I know why. I don't think I disagree with him either. But I don't want to misinterpret his words. I don't want to besmirch his logic. All right, so while we're waiting on Mid-Atlantic to chime in, or anyone else who wants to tell us or give us the guess of why Mid-Atlantic thinks it's a good stock. All right, so Marvin Nurse. Okay, so Marvin Nurse, as an Airbnb host, I see this being a positive move. Travel workers and temporary corporate housing. Just jumping me. Sorry, y'all. Temporary workers, travel workers and temporary corporate housing are still in play. So I think stocks will trend up regardless to CV-19, and even more so as we move towards vaccination and travel bounce back in months to come. Definitely one to track. I agree. All right. Thaddeus Green says possible vaccine carrier. Not carrier like carrying the vaccine, like spreading the vaccine, but they can deliver the vaccine or at least be a part of it. Now, I'm going to give y'all some homework. I've probably given this out earlier, right? So you can do two things when you're kind of developing your investment thesis or your investment ideas, is you can try to invest directly into the actual idea. For example, Pfizer or Moderna are a good example of this. So you can invest in the people that are making the vaccine. But what about all the other ancillary things that go into delivering the vaccine, right? So that's called picks and shovels. So a carrier could be considered a picks and shovel play. All right. A UPS can be considered a picks and shovel play, right? It's not the actual direct investment into the thing. It's everything else that goes to support it. Now, this was kind of made famous around the gold miners, right? Gold miners were going into California, into Nevada, out west, and they were mining for gold. However, do you want to mine for gold? Do you think that's where your best advantage is? Maybe, maybe not. But you can do other things. Like there's a company today that's out that makes jeans. Can anybody guess that company? Well, I'm not going to wait for y'all to jump in. I'll say this. The company I'm talking about is Levi Strauss. Been around since the 1800s. So gold miners needed durable clothing, needed durable apparel because they're going into the mines. They're dusty. Sometimes they're dusting up against jagged edges, jagged rocks inside of these mines. So you don't want clothes that are just going to kind of be flimsy and tear and not be there to protect you from the elements. That's a picks and shovels play, right? You also need picks and shovels, right? So that's kind of why it has that term. It's picks and shovels, right? So you can always kind of look around what you like. Here's another example, right? Everybody's really big on marijuana now. What's the picks and shovel play for marijuana? Well, you can do a lot of things. You could potentially get into the delivery of the plant, right? You can be part of the real estate of it. You can be part of, so a lot of people are doing like hydroponics and aquaponics with growing marijuana. You could figure out how to work those systems, create those systems, or even maintenance those systems. That's a picks and shovel type play, just to kind of give you an idea. So you don't always have to kind of invest directly into the thing, right? In this particular instance, the thing is vaccines, right? But there's so many other things that will be needed to get the vaccines to 350 million plus Americans. I don't think I'll be one of them, unless somebody throws me in a jail somewhere. Knock on wood, that never happens. However, I'm not the first person to raise my hand either, though. So, you got to think about that when you go into your investments and when you develop your investment thesis. Sometimes you can come up with an idea, you can see something coming, but you don't have a real way to invest into it. There's not a stock there. You may not have access to big commercial banks that create CBOs or CDOs like in 2008, 2007, where they're making these fake indexes, right, for real estate. You might not have that. You might just only have the ability to invest in stocks, but you still want to be able to think through it in a logical fashion and try to find the best investment that works for you. All right. Sherwin, we talked about that earlier. I believe Moderna is up because it's up like 700%. I believe it's up because the investors believe that it has more viability than Pfizer. That's what I believe. All right, so Ms. Edith said she never knew what an S1 was or is. Glad I was able to help. Right, so Thad says invest into the support elements. Right, that is what picks and shovels is. So Adrian Anderson says, is there a dry ice provider specifically for medical samples? It's a great question. You should look it up. Angela says Wrangler. I don't know if I know Wrangler's been around for a long time. I'm not sure exactly when, but the company I was thinking about was definitely Levi Strauss. All right, so Marvin says, yes, these ancillary services can't be forgotten like Tesla. Good investment. I disagree. I know y'all gonna kill me for that, but who's making the chips that Tesla innovation? Right, yes. Very good, Marvin. I agree. That's where we sleep on investing as I'm learning more and more. Yep, that's why I brought it up, brother. Glad you're here. Glad you are here. Packaging, labeling. Yep, I agree. Was it 1 million for the? Are you talking about DoorDash for Dash? I'm not following you, Ms. Edith. I got that. Like Hydro Farm Holdings, GR. They are trading tomorrow as well. Yeah, I'm not familiar with them. Like I said, again, in closing, I'm not really a fan of IPOs. I know y'all gonna do what y'all want to do anyway, because y'all adults, y'all work hard for y'all money. Y'all like, come on, who are you to tell me what to do with my money? I'm gonna do what I want to do with my money, man. I get it. So I just want to help give a little bit more guidance. If you are going to buy the IPO, do your research. Don't blame anybody for losing money. Why? Because Mar told you not to do that. Mar also told you where to go to get your research. So there's no excuse, right? You can't have a wealthy mindset and also have an entitled mindset. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. We got to be accountable and responsible for all our actions as we go forward in this life. All right. So listen, folks, I appreciate you all being here. Every week you're here supporting me. You're here helping to push the mission of getting more people involved in their finances so we can make the community a better place. If you want to stay in touch with me, do me a favor, text me at 215-974-0058. Again, 215-974-0058. It's probably going to come a time really quickly that I'm only going to be taking questions from the folks that text me. Why? Because this is a bit of an undertaking, y'all. I'm getting questions on Instagram, Twitter sometimes, and my text messages on Facebook. It's a lot. And I do this for free, right? So I'm trying to make it as simple and easy as fun for myself and also make it simple, easy, and fun for y'all as well. So, join my community. Again, 215-974-0058. I'm looking to grow my YouTube channel, so go on over and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not done so thus far. If you haven't, you should be ashamed of yourself. By the way, you also should be ashamed of yourself if you have not listened to my podcast, The Finance Rebel Show. Again, The Finance Rebel Show. All you got to do is Google it, listen to it, rate it, review it. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully give it a 5-star review. But if you don't, I'm cool with that too. Just give me honest feedback because I'm looking to get better. And the better I get, the more helpful I can be. All right. So listen, everybody, I appreciate you all being here again. I'm humbled that you're here every week. Listen, we only get one life to live. So take that life by its hand, lead that life around where you want it to go, and don't take no for an answer. And don't wait on anybody to get what you want. All right, folks, have a great night. I will see you all this Saturday at noon. Y'all know I usually don't have a topic in advance, so you just got to kind of wait and see what I talk about. All right, so I'll be back Saturday at noon for Wealthy Conversations. Have a great night, everybody. So long.